Localization is a profession rooted in narcissism, egotism, self-centeredness, failed writing, all disguised in "I'm doing something artistic." For example, this infamous tweet from a localizer that says it all. The true joy of localization is really seeing what you can get away with. And also shout out to DBZ fan for pointing this out to me.
But the guy who translated Metal Gear Solid 1 to this day says it's his best work ever. And in his own article where he's talking about how it's his best work ever, he's like, so I brought my work to Kojima and he loved how it sounded. He thought all the characters perfect, chef's kiss, exactly how he thought Snake should sound. And then his personal translator told him what I had Snake actually saying, and Kojima was so pissed, he immediately demanded the translator be fired on the spot and never be allowed to touch his work ever again. And that's what I mean when I say, like, a lot of these guys in Japan don't actually know what's happening with localization.
And the article that's being referenced is from Polygon, with the localizer himself taking pride in his work, even as it pisses off Kojima himself, the actual creator and author, because to localizers, the original creator must always be damned. With his words, quote, "Does it seem like I was being less faithful to the original by trying to find words that felt more natural to Western audiences? I've tried to explain where my mind was when I started the project, my level of enthusiasm, my efforts, and ultimately the decisions that led to me pissing off Kojima and not translating another game in the series." From what I heard at the time, Kojima began to hear that his work had been tinkered with. I'd argue there might have been a lack of appreciation for the needs of localization due to his not being bilingual, but he was not happy. As a result, all future Metal Gear games will be closely monitored for fidelity to the original Japanese script. If nothing else, I was able to be at least a small part of gaming history, and how many people are able to say that? And so far, all of this confirms my statement of this field being fueled by narcissism and a "look at me" mentality. Kojima being pissed off is of no concern. All that matters is this localizer's ego being boosted. Authenticity to the original script is an obstacle in their point of view. Kojima, in the localizer's eyes, lacked the appreciation needed to understand that his work being butchered and tampered with must be tolerated, all to uphold the unnecessary field of localization. Then with this last quote. Before Twitter and its legions of armchair quarterbacks with the luxury of spending much more time reviewing translations than the original translators had in doing them, our main concern was an honest desire to make a fun and entertaining game for a local audience. To this day, I believe the best translators are writers who take on what is an impossible task and do their best to satisfy several masters: the audience, the original author, and the marketplace. Basically, these localizers are all mad that they now have to deal with accountability, that there are tools in present day that allow fans to call them out easily now, something these types just cannot stand.
Young people like millennials and Gen Z who got really into Japanese through anime, so they started learning a little bit of Japanese, so they are very loud on social media when they hear something and they're like, wait, that's not what the subtitle said, these people don't know what they're doing. And it's like, no, you guys, like, you know, this is a skilled profession. We know what we're doing. We didn't change it to spite you in your Japanese 101 class. Like, this is actually what they said. You just don't understand the challenges of it.
Right.
Activists see localization as a tool to get their agenda across, using language that's rooted in political correctness. We saw this recently in Chainsmoker Cat, when instead of using the sensible term homeless, these corrupt localizers used unhoused, straight out of the activist book 101.
Mental health, those individuals who are unhoused, the activists,
Which, in typical fashion, these activists make up problems to justify convincing normies to give them money, when the actual people they're trying to protect from offense could give a shit.
You know, a lot of people now say homeless or unhoused. What term do you use?
I use homeless.
Do you prefer the term homeless, unhoused?
Homeless.
What term do you prefer? Homeless, unhoused, houseless, people experiencing homelessness, and now I think I have to add domestic refugee.
I prefer homeless.
Localizers who most likely have a failed writer's mentality feel this need or urge to leave their mark, which leads to them inserting cringe Gen Z slang or popular terms in general at the moment that makes them feel special, like they're clever or achieve something exclusive to them. Whether it's saying things like deadly drip, slay, cringe, which is cringe in itself. Using localization to dish out their own grievances and personal opinions to soft lecture the audience, even going so low as to replace Merry Christmas with Happy Holidays and Uma Musume. Because Merry Christmas is just too offensive. This isn't the exception, but it's practice for these types. But real quick, here's a sketch of Maki I decided to dedicate for today's video. It's my first time using charcoal, as you can obviously tell. I wanted to try to experiment with that. I also wanted to challenge myself again like I did with Nezuko, getting the face details down with the burnt scars, and also to get the shading right depending on the location of the different scars on her face. Taking what I learned from other sketches, trial and error, but overall I am satisfied with how this turned out. Learning more with each sketch since I started learning how to draw, and I'm glad I'm using these videos to document my progress from when I first started to how I'm doing now, so, and for everybody else to see. So yeah, not to take up too much time on this sketch. I hope you like it. Now back to the video. Speaking of Uma Musume, with the latest presentation slides describing how localization is needed are making their intentions clear. For they're saying they're aiming for authenticity when their translations are anything but, adding on text that is so on the nose which would break immersion immediately for me, with dialogue that sounds like a person so desperate to sound cool and be a part of the in crowd. Don't hate, let her cook. I always say these losers sound like the principal trying to keep up with the latest trends of their students.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
With their goal to replace Japanese culture as stated. Unlike otaku culture, gyaru culture is not very well known outside of Japan. We found a parallel culture whose expressions could convey Daitaku's Helios's chaotic, fun personality, Gen Z. Your job isn't to cater to Gen Z, it's to cater to anime, manga, overall Japanese media fans, which transcends generations. But of course, these localizers could care less. Their own agenda trumps everything, including honoring the original author's works, integrity, and responsibility. It's up to the fans to adapt to Japanese media, their way of storytelling, their tropes, culture, all of the above, which is why I fully agreed when reading this. Neon Genesis Evangelion director Hideaki Anno doesn't believe creating for the global market is the way to go. I'm sorry, but the audience will have to be the ones to adapt.
Yes!
And that's exactly how it should be. But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Localization is meant for normies, non-fans, only here for the moment type of consumer. Escapism is for the fans, while constant validation is for the rest. Also, if you want to support the content I create, consider joining my channel and becoming a member for exclusive live streams and videos. Oh shit. I never knew which game he was from. Even though he's one of the worst characters of Marvel's Capcom 2, I always love his character design. I just thought he looked so f***ing cool. So I never knew what game he was from. I just always liked his character design though. So he's from this game, Star Gladiator. Saying Monte Hayato was a bad, yeah, he just looked cool as shit. Also, I now have a Patreon where you can catch all my previous watch parties, which are always a good time. Damn, look at him, Joe. Stuff like that in broad daylight. Look at him, Joe. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.